Corporate megastores are spending millions lobbying DC politicians on one-sided policies that send small businesses tumbling. They want to enact harmful credit card mandates that take resources away from your local credit union and community bank, leaving Main Street businesses with less access to credit, making it harder for your family to pay for everyday goods like gas and groceries. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better Picks, daily fantasy sports app, where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better or visit better.app now. Sign up today, get your free money, and no deposit necessary.
Great hour on tap. Coming up in 15 minutes, incredible props on Oklahoma City. Matt Youmans on the program, bottom of the hour, best bets for this week. And our in-pocket plays as well to close up shop. Right now we head out to the Progressive Guest Line as a longtime friend of the show, Sports Better. He's got a Substack, Bets and Reps. You can find it there. He's also on X at Bets and Reps. Mike Montesano on the program. Hey, Mike, good afternoon. Good to see you again, pal. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You bet. So you and I have been chatting over recent weeks about the Houston Texans. And we're like, okay, do we need to get ahead of this right now? Division, maybe a little AFC. You have a ton of bets on the Texans. When did you decide it was a good idea to get on board with this team? And what do you make of their numbers at the current prices?
Well, when you and I were texting a few weeks ago at 25-1, I think we were both jokingly saying, we need a little bit more than that. But then as the last couple of weeks, I've watched this defense play, and they've been outstanding. They resemble, to me, the 2000 Baltimore Ravens team, where their defense was amazing, led them to Super Bowl. Their offense was just average. And last Sunday, I finally had to pull the trigger. I jumped on them 11-1 at the time to win the AFC, and I think that number's gone. And I also took them to win the division. I think literally when I saw Daniel Jones go down, I jumped on them to win the division plus 260, and they quickly went down to plus 150, I think, right after that.
So if there's a bet to be made still on the board for the audience, take us through this with D'Amico Ryans. Do you think that he is live to win Coach of the Year?
I really do. I mean, right now, if you look at their strength of schedule, they're number one. They've played the hardest schedule in the NFL this year, and they've kind of managed. He's managed it to the best he can because Mills was the backup for 3 straight games, and they won those games with him. They're 8-5 now. I mean, there's a path that they can win the division and win out and go 12-5. If they go 12-5. And some of the other teams falter, you're going to need a little bit of help from some of the other candidates. I think at 125-1 that I saw at one book today, and I think 80-1 at another book, it's worth some sprinkles on that.
Good recall with the comparison to the Ravens in 2000. Also, you liked them laying 9.5 against Arizona this Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, Arizona is just, they're shot. Defensively, they're atrocious. They can't stop anyone, and the Texans right now they're the number one defense. We've said it several times in the NFL. I don't think Arizona is faced a defense like that. Brissett can't move in the pocket. I think 9.5 is too short. I'd see at least a 2 touchdown win by the Tech. They are right now a freight train, and all systems go with them. You can't jump off of them right now.
Yep. So you still recommend plus 150 to win the division. How about the back end of the schedule?
I would recommend plus 150. Okay. Yep.
How about
plus 150? I mean, if you want to take a little bit of plus 550 to win the conference as well. If they get the 1 seed, they get a home game. Probably have to play the Bills in the first round, but you know they seem to have Josh Allen's number at home. So I just think right now that defense, they're a top team in the AFC.
How about who they close with? Herbert? And they can't protect him. We watched what happened Monday night, and then could be old man Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what those two teams are going to do to try to protect them against that defense. Right now, Ryans has got them playing at a high level. If they can win the Cardinals game, which I think they will pretty handily this week, you're looking at 4 wins coming up. I know they have to go to the Chargers, but, Herbert's compromised, the offensive line's compromised, and then they do get the Colts at home. So they will win. I think they will go 4-0.
I'll give you another market that we should all be looking at, and that is just Super Bowl exactas, right? So if you missed the boat on anything Houston related, okay, well, it's too late to get them on some of these bets, obviously. However, if you think that Mike is spot on with this and you'd like to have some action, throw them on a ticket to play the Rams and or to play the Seahawks or whatever team that you might be the highest on in the NFC. I think that's one way that you have to go about this.
That's what I'm probably going to look at next. I want to see like Houston versus the Rams, Houston even versus Philadelphia, even though they've been struggling. Yeah. There's several ways. Just sprinkle a little on each, and you'll get better than plus 550 to win the AFC.
Okay, very good. How about guns up? Let's stay in Texas. Texas Tech 11-1 to win it all. State your case.
Well, right now, they're probably one of the most undervalued 4 seeds I think we've seen in a long time. They have a defense that is absolutely outstanding. You can't run against them. They've been blowing out teams left and right. I have an adjusted scoring margin formula that I use. It's kind of a nice predictor that you could, predict national champions in the past. Right now, they're third, and they're a little bit behind Indiana, who's number 1. They have an offense, I think an underrated offense. They got Morton's is a solid quarterback. He just hasn't been able to put up those gaudy statistics, maybe like Mendoza or some of the others, because they haven't needed him to. But I really, really like Texas Tech to win the national championship. They're going to be a small favorite against Oregon when they beat Oregon, and then they might be small underdogs in the next 2 games. But that's worth a shot. I think 11-1 is where I got them at. Even plus 850 is worth a play.
All right, this is refreshing. Everyone's anti-group of 5. They don't want him in. We got 2 in. How about James Madison catching more than 3 touchdowns?
Well, James Madison, we'll look at a data point from earlier in the year when they played Louisville. And that, we could say, oh, it's just Louisville. Well, Louisville did beat Miami. And they played them pretty tough in that game. And that was before James Madison really had any kind of offensive identity. They started to get an offensive identity. They have an amazing coach. We all know Bob Chesney's going to UCLA after this. He's a buttoned-up coach. I like buttoned-up coaches. And right now, I look at my ratings. I have the game at 18.4. I have an adjusted scoring margin model that I was just briefly talking about. It's at 18.6. I have a points per play model that it's at 17.6. So I'm getting the 21.5 in that one with a solid coach. And how much motivation does Oregon really have to really pour it on at the end? They just have to win. They don't need any style points in this one. They gotta win the game and move on. And I'm going to take a top coach in Bob Chesney getting the 21.5 on the road in this one.
All right, very good. I think you're maybe the first person I've heard make the case for James Madison, and I like that. Mike Montesano, our guest, he's on X at Bets and Reps. I think maybe the most fascinating first-round matchup is actually Miami and Texas A&M. I can't wait to watch this bad boy. And you have a bet on this one as well. Which side do you like?
Yeah, I jumped on the Hurricanes plus 3.5. I'm getting the hook in that one over the key number of 3. But, I was really impressed with Miami. Some may not think it's impressive. After they lost to SMU in a close one, they blew out their next 4 opponents. They kind of didn't take the foot off the gas. They needed to, obviously, for the committee to get them in as well. But all my ratings, I have Texas A&M minus 1.5 in this game. So if I'm getting the 3.5 points, and mostly it's because they're at home. Let's say I even gave another point for home field advantage. I would still have Miami catching that 3.5 points. But A&M, I was not impressed with their game against South Carolina. They should have lost that game. They needed a miracle comeback at the end. And we all know what happened in the Texas game. They just did not look good in the Texas game. So whereas one team's kind of rising, last couple games, take out the FCS game that A&M played, they're kind of descending a little bit. And it's tough to bet on Mario Cristobal. We all know that. But I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to take Miami of Florida plus the 3.5. They have an experienced quarterback, 6-year guy. They have a defensive line that's outstanding, and I like them a lot.
Are you also into this? With the holidays around the corner and New Year's resolutions, how about a health and fitness tip?
Yeah, health and fitness tip. You want to enjoy yourself in the holidays. You want to have a couple cocktails, some eggnog, but I still think you need to stay on your daily routine. Okay, and one of those things that I do is I try to make sure I'm getting enough protein. As long as you're getting enough protein and you're trying to keep the sweets out of the mix, the excess carbs, the simple sugars, things like that. Keep your protein levels up. Eat your eggs, your pasteurized eggs. Eat your organic chicken, your grass-fed beef, and just really keep your protein levels high, because during Christmas, I'll admit, being Italian, I'm going to eat a lot of pasta. I'm going to eat, a lot of carbs. But from now until then, and also make sure you're staying with your workout routine as well, whatever that may be, 4 or 5 times a week. Lifting, doing steady state cardio. If you like doing high intensity cardio, do that. I'm not a big high intensity cardio guy. Stay steady state, 30, 40 minutes walking each day. But just really don't abandon, if you are into health and fitness, everything, just like, I'm just going to wait till the New Year's and I'll start again. I don't believe in that. Start now.
That's a good tip. Definitely. You can follow him on X. He's at Bets and Reps. And again, the Substack is betsandreps.substack.com. Mike Montesano is his name. Thanks, Mike. Great spot, man. Enjoy the holidays. Don't have too many cookies in, okay?
No. And I did tell you, Mitch, on Case and Wallace, I swore I would never get back in the NBA Defensive Player of the Year market. But 50-1, I put a little dabble on it yesterday. So let's go Case and Wallace.
Here we go.
Good job.
Going to get tortured again. Thanks, Mike. Up next, incredible props in Oklahoma City.
DC politicians want to enact harmful credit card mandates that could take away your cash back and rewards points. Perks that stretch your budget and make life a little easier. Losing these benefits means less money for your family's everyday essentials like gas and groceries. The perks you rely on could disappear, leaving you with higher costs and fewer options. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Think sports get paid for with Better Picks, daily fantasy app that turns your sports knowledge into real cash. Download Better. Pick more or less on your favorite player's stats. If your pick hits, you win. New users get free money just for signing up and no deposit required. And when you do deposit, you get a 50% match up to $200. NBA, MLB, soccer, UFC, golf, and more. Better.app. Download Better today. Promo code VSiN for your free money and deposit bonus. BETR, Better.app.
Okay, we'll get to your Oklahoma City props coming up in a second. We do have some breaking news in the NFL. As we found out, Pauly, moments ago, the doubleheader that we're going to get 2 days after Christmas, on December 27th, this is going to be at 4:30 Eastern Time on NFL Network. You're going to get Houston and the Chargers, a rematch of last year's bloodbath in the playoffs.
Good game.
And then one game following that, it's 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, Baltimore and Green Bay. That game's going to be on Peacock. So hang on to your Peacock subscriptions here. You're going to need them.
It's a Peacock game.
That's a Peacock game.
Good call. All right. I thought it was a triple header. In any event, the double header. And I hope Baltimore keeps winning. So that stays starts to win.
They can start winning.
Right. So that's a compelling matchup. So that's back-to-back primetime games for the Ravens. All right. Great job by the listeners. Ask and you shall receive. Devin Booker's out, but we talked about this earlier. OKC, third team in history to start 23-1.
Yeah, they're up to 15.5-point favorites now as a result of that news.
Yet second most games missed to injury. They've won 15 in a row. I would like to see this prop put up. Will they lose a game the rest of the year? If they keep winning, and that includes tonight and Saturday, that would be 25 in a row to finish out the year. But here's what I wanted, and boy, did FanDuel do a great job. The 71-72 Lakers won 33 in a row. FanDuel has 29 straight wins plus 680. To break the Lakers' record is 15-1. To win 40 in a row is 35-1. To break the Warriors' record and win 74 is plus 450. That's at DraftKings. They have a better number. FanDuel has 75, 76, 77, 78 wins. 78 wins is 35-1. Don't laugh. 23-1. The loss was on a back-to-back. Key guys didn't play. They led Portland by 22. They lost by a basket. Their defensive rating, number one by a blowout, significant margin. 104 points per 100 possessions allowed. Number two was 110. Point differential of 16 points per game. They had the record last year, 13. And a clutch net rating of plus 41.4. And an offensive rating of 136.7. 80-11 last 91 regular season, 45-3 at home. Anything's possible with this group.
Let me give you some candidates for their next loss.
Very good.
Okay. And by the way, that could come during the NBA Cup. Lakers are a good basketball team. Spurs are good even without Wemby. If they get Wemby back, maybe they're had. I don't know.
Knicks Thunder Tuesday would be sexy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But beyond the Cup, Friday, December 19th, they play at Minnesota. Minnesota gives them problems. They just did, in fact, when they played in Oklahoma City back on the 26th. They also play at San Antonio on December 23rd. I will assume that Wemby's going to be back for that game, and he'll be back before then, I guess, but he's going to stay healthy.
Yep.
Who knows? That would be a potential loss, but they played then one of the early games on Christmas Day, a day and a half later, against San Antonio again. They put him back-to-back against the Spurs.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for any like Malinsky specials where it's a long road trip. They only have one 5-game road trip coming up, and that's not until March. They played, the final game is on March 25th at Boston. 2 nights later, they host the Chicago Bulls. So it's not like they have, a 6-game road trip. They come back and play at home the next night against a really good team.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I didn't have a next loss until around MLK Day when they have that road trip where it's, where was it? It's at Houston, at Miami, at Cleveland, at Milwaukee, which a lot of that is about health, but then maybe they could trip up there. And that's what sticks out to me around the middle of the January, where the next loss could come.
So here's what they have going for them is that they're still one of the youngest teams in the entire league.
Yeah.
They have so many young dudes. And by the way, a lot of I'll call them the fringe guys for a moment, the non-SGAs, the guys not named Chet Holmgren or the really good Jalen Williams, they all want to play for potentially like either re-signing and getting a big deal out from Oklahoma City, or it's funny money in this league, Pauly. They could go and maybe sign a 9-figure deal somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, and they don't have a makeup of older dudes, at Golden State, I thought it was unbelievable watching those teams play. Highest power rated team of all time. But it's not like they were 24 years old.
Yeah.
Durant had been in the league for 10 years.
Right. And as of right now, they would have 3 lottery picks. That's the other thing.
That's right. So they can get as creative as they want.
Yep. As far as tonight, I kind of agree what Montesano just said. I mean, they want to win the game, but do they have to do it by 16 points? Yeah, they're so good that they can blow them out, and it's been a game Phoenix team. It's had a really strong season. But down your best player, and then I would just say it could also be a business-like approach. Get the win, and let's get out here to Las Vegas early and get ready for the Lakers or the Spurs. But I think it'll be the Lakers now with the Wemby news and the Lakers up to 7.5. I'm
looking at the game they just played not that long ago. It was in Oklahoma City when the Thunder got him 123-119. Booker played in that game. He had 21. He was only 5 of 13 from the floor. But other players who really stepped up in that game, this Colin Gillespie is off to just a rip-roaring start. He had 24 and 6 threes in that game. Awesome story. Also, Dylan Brooks, who has been, this is like his best season ever.
Yes.
He had 19. He actually did not have a good game from the floor, but he had 19. Mark Williams had 13 and 14 in that game. There's no Hartenstein tonight. Would you want to look at Mark Williams to have a double-double?
Yeah, he was great the other night, too.
Oh, he's having a really nice season.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So I have bet this game with one player in particular. You know, we have in-pocket plays coming up in about 25 minutes. I'll detail who I have at that point.
Yep.
I can give you this, by the way, in the Lakers game with that total, Pauly. It opened up 234. So it is sitting at 241.5. It got as high as 242. Totals in the NBA Cup knockout rounds are 13-3 to the under since they put this in-season tournament in play. I'm checking Raheem Palmer's X right now. So as we saw it last night, both games went under. And tonight, this game is just, again,
look at that move.
7.5-point move. The Lakers are 10-0 to the over at home. Spurs 8-4 over on the road. And the team total for the Lakers has been like a phenomenal bet, especially when they play high-tempo teams, super high. It doesn't matter how high you're making some of these numbers. They're scoring 130.
They're not going to use the NBA Cup court tonight. The case again for the over. LA, 6th in offense, San Antonio, 7th. Lakers, 20th defensively. San Antonio, 16th. And no Wembanyama. Open 4.5 up to 7.5 now at BetMGM. I like LeBron points under. I don't know how much you got into this Friday, but the streak came to an end. 1,297 straight games with at least 10 points. The last time he didn't score 10 points, Aaron Rodgers didn't have a touchdown pass, and Cooper Flagg was just born. Incredible. But I thought for a second there, it's over. He's cooked. That 4 for 17 performance, how bad he looked. But that Philadelphia game, they had to have it because Reeves was so bad in that game. And he stepped up, and LeBron was awesome and crowned himself. But I think you're going to get a good performance out of Reeves. It'll be crazy tempo. Luka and Reeves will cook. Ayton's been great. Huge acquisition. Hachimura playing well. And I think LeBron will lean on his teammates, kind of coast, take this one off, and get ready for the Thunder on Saturday night out here.
Reeves has had 2 awesome games this month and 2 kind of clunkers for him. But if you go back and look at his games in November, and I'm talking about like points, rebounds, and assists, so many games, 31-9-3, 38-8-3, 33-5-8, 22. Some of this stuff was before LeBron, but the guy was absolutely fantastic. And when you have a total this high, I mean, if it's going to go over, he's going to be a key part of that. It's the season to come together over your holiday favorites at Starbucks. Warm up with a creamy caramel brulee latte, get festive with an iced gingerbread chai, or share a velvety peppermint mocha. Together is the best place to be, and that is at Starbucks. So Luka's numbers, obviously, every game are going to be, so ballooned that it's going to be tough to make a case to go over on that. But he's also, if you can bet stuff like first quarter, first half, how many games recently where Luka, you look up, he's got 24 at halftime.
Oh, yeah. Number 1 in usage. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Matt Youmans, VSiN host on the program, coming up next. We'll get some best bets from him, NFL, bowl games as well, coming up here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, in pocket plays, and you won't believe who the favorite is to get the Michigan football job. Wow. Right now we go to the Progressive guest line. Matt Youmans joins the program, VSiN host. All right, let's start with this. You do a great job, obviously, every single week during the football season with the Friday Football Invitational. There is a new leader in the clubhouse. What the hell's going on with the contest here?
Well, the top 2 guys have hit a pothole the last couple of weeks. It was Chris the Bear Felica and Jason Jarvis on top, and Jarvis 3-11 the last 2 weeks, and the Bear went 1-6 last week. So the Boston Strangler, Chris Massaro, if you follow him on Twitter, you know why that's his nickname. He has now taken over the lead, and he sent me his jacket size. He said, "Get me fitted for the green jacket." Talk about a guy who's cocky and confident headed down the stretch. So we got a great race at the top. Those guys are outstanding handicappers. and Massaro has overtaken Jarvis and the Bear. And let's see, on this week's show, we've got Steve Fezzik, he's got 9 lives in this contest. He survived the cut the last couple of weeks, just barely. Frank Betty's going to be on the show. Frank Carulli and a cast of characters on this Friday's show.
Oh, awesome. Frank B's the man. How surprised are you that the Denver, 10 wins in a row, and the Patriots are both home dogs?
Not that surprised, actually. Just a little bit surprised that the Broncos are 2.5-point home dogs. I thought that number might be like Packers 1 or even maybe around Pick'em. Not surprised that the Bills are favored over the Patriots because the Patriots won the first meeting in Buffalo. And both these teams have long win streaks. I know a lot of people think they're overdue to take a loss when you look at these two teams. So I'm tempted to play the Broncos and the Pats this week. But this is when, Mitch, you know this, you do a futures podcast with JVT each week. This is the time of year when your futures bets start to interfere with your betting a little bit because I've got the Broncos to win the AFC West, I think plus 325, and the Patriots to win the AFC East at 5-1. I don't need to bet those two teams this week because if the Broncos win, they're probably going to win the division. And if the Patriots win, they're certainly going to win that division. So I really don't need to bet those home dogs. I would love to see them both win.
Yeah, I'll give you an example on that. So I think you and I are both heavy on the Rams to win the Super Bowl going back to many months ago in the offseason. I already bet the Seahawks next week plus 1.5. on Thursday night. I actually kind of hope I lose that bet because I want the Rams to get the 1 seed for our future bets, Matt.
Yeah, no question about it. So that's a sort of a hedge, but you're right. I've got the Rams. Bet them at 30-1 at Circa, I think at the end of April or beginning of May. What'd you get on that? I think you got about the same price.
Yeah, I got 30.
Westgate,
yeah,
right?
30 at the Westgate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what do you make of that Rams number then? Lane 5.5 or 6? There's a 6 out there as well against the Lions this week.
Yeah, Superbook's actually got 6. So if you shop around a little bit, you can get that 6 at minus 108. And I do like the Lions a little bit in this game, and I have bet it. And the Lions got the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL, 30.3 points a game. And look at their weapons with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and those wide receivers. The one weakness that the Rams have, and every team's got a weakness you can find. I think the Rams' pass defense is a little bit of their weakness. Ranks middle of the pack in the NFL. I mean, the Rams are top 5 right now in scoring on offense and defense, so they don't have too many weaknesses. But you can beat them if you got a really competent pass offense. So I like that. And also there's a trend. You know, Evan Abrams of the Action Network does an awesome job with the trends each week. Steve Mackinnon of VSiN does as well. When the Lions are dogs of 4 points or more, the duo of Jared Goff and Dan Campbell, 17-3 against the spread. So Lions plus 6 might play there.
All right, we'll be breaking this down Monday night. A couple of weeks ago, it looked like a dog matchup, but it's enticing now. Miami's hot, and Pittsburgh is in first place. Hopefully we got cannolis in the studio. Steelers laying 3. I'm with you on this one. I like the Steelers as well.
Yeah, the Steelers on Monday night, I decided to add that play because the DraftKings is -3, -120, at 3.5 pretty much everywhere else across the board. And I think it should be 3.5, but I'll lay the field goal here. How about, who wants to bet on Tua in cold weather? And it looks like that's what we're going to have Monday night in Pittsburgh. And Tua was not very good against the Jets last week either. How about Mike Tomlin, once again, in position to go 9-8? The Steelers got to get this win on Monday night. I've also got the Steelers over 8.5 wins, but I think they're going to get there. But how about this Monday night home trend too? The Steelers on Monday Night Football at home under Mike Tomlin, 11-1 straight up. And dating back to 1992, Pittsburgh is 22-1 straight up at home on Mondays. But to me, this is also a fate of Tua and the Dolphins in cold weather.
Yeah, makes sense. No, that's an unbelievable stat. We agree on this one. I bet Roll Tide. I watched the first meeting. It was total domination against Oklahoma, but the Tide beat themselves with the silly turnovers. How about the playoff game?
Alabama pick them over Oklahoma. There's been a lot of talk about Bama. It doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs, but how about the Sooners? Do they deserve to be in the playoffs? If you look at the Tide, I mean, it's tough to be too enthusiastic because they did their best work in the middle of the season. They beat Georgia, Vandy, Missouri, and Tennessee over a 4-week stretch. So they're not playing their best football now, but they've been hearing a lot here about how they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. A lot of people are dumping on them. The only reason the Sooners are in is they won that game in Tuscaloosa 23-21 on November 15th. But I think that was somewhat of a fluke. You watched that game. Oklahoma had a long pick six. Ty Simpson passed for 326 yards, tied out game the Sooners 406-212. I was anti-Alabama last week. I was on Georgia in the SEC title game, but I'll roll with the Tide here in the revenge situation. I like these situations where the team that lost the first meeting was the home favorite and was the favorite and seeking revenge. And I think Alabama's going to get the Sooners here.
How about in the bowl game between Hawaii and Cal? You have 2 bets on this game, side and total. Who do you like?
This could be one of the best matchups of the entire bowl season, Christmas Eve in Honolulu. I'm going to be there for this. And you got 2 coaches, Nick Rolovich and Timmy Chang, who are prolific passers in the run-and-shoot offense in college. Do you think these guys are going to be conservative in this bowl game? Hell no. Especially when you got 2 young quarterbacks who like to cut it loose, Jaron Kiawe, Sagar Patelli of Cal, and Micah Alahado of Hawaii. Sagar Patelli passed for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. Cal beat SMU 38-35 in the regular season finale. Hawaii 6-1 at home this season, scoring an average of 30.4 points. It's a huge game for Hawaii. They really love to play in the Hawaii Bowl. I did play Hawaii +3 and over the total of 54. Now, also, this comes into play, the bowl nonsense. Here we go with this. Hawaii's top wide receiver, Jackson Harris, opted out. He entered the transfer portal. He is not going to play. That news came out today. So the total actually dropped from 55.5 to 54. But I don't think that's going to matter much because Nick Cynical, who was one of their top wide receivers coming into the season, had been banged up with injuries all year. He's good to go now. He's healthy, so he's going to take Harris's spot, and Hawaii's deep at wide receiver. So I think over 54 might even be the slightly better play here.
All right, little college basketball action tonight as well. Wisconsin, Big Ten matchup. I love how this conference is playing conference games like in early December. They're a very small dog on the road against Nebraska. You like the home team here. Why?
I do. And, Mitch, I was going to talk about some of the, surprises and disappointments in college hoops. And speaking of futures, you and I are stuck with a loser on Kentucky.
Oh, yes, we are.
I cannot believe how bad Kentucky is playing. And I know Mark Pope's depressed about it. They got a $22 million roster, and the team's going in the tank. Kentucky has beat 6 cupcakes and lost only against the 4 legitimate opponents they played. Circle January 27th, Vanderbilt hosting Kentucky. Vandy's one of my surprise teams in college hoops right now. I'll talk about that a little bit more on the show later in the week. We're going to be out of time. But Nebraska's another surprise team. Huskers are 9-0. Tonight, we're going to find out if they're for real. I actually like this Whiskey team quite a bit, too. Great guards, changed ways coach, and Badgers are playing more up-tempo ball. But Nebraska's 9-0. They got wins over Oklahoma, New Mexico, K-State. Just beat Creighton by 21. And Rink Mast, their 6'10 senior, had 20 points in that game against Creighton. He's averaging 18 and 6. I think this Huskers team's legit. Now, Nebraska opened a small dog in this game and is now basically a 1 or 1.5 point favorite, but I am on Nebraska tonight.
You're going to be in Kentucky and Nashville this weekend? Is that true?
Yeah, not for a Kentucky basketball game. No, I'm going to be there for Indy Jeff's birthday party. Indy Jeff Seeley is I can't remember what it is. You guys know that it's his 50th or his 60th?
Tough crowd.
Anyway, it's going to be. We're going to go to the Circus Sportsbook in Southern Kentucky. Super Dave Ross is going to be the master of ceremonies, and we're going to watch the Army-Navy game there, and then spend the weekend in Nashville watching football games. But happy birthday to Indy Jeff, and we're going to have a big group out there this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Pauly and I would be there, but hosting the Sunday morning show here now during the football season kind of wiped us out of making that happen this year. Have a great time down there, Matt, and best of luck this week.
Okay, you bet. Thanks.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, so a bunch of bets there from Matty Ice. Nebraska and college hoops tonight. Now that's up to 2 here at Circa. Lumber just moved. Bowl games, playoffs, NFL, you name it.
I got good stuff for you.
Okay, in pocket next, and you're telling me right now that we're not going to believe who the favorite is to become the next Michigan football coach?
You got it.
Can't wait to hear this coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
DC D.C. politicians want to enact harmful credit card mandates that could take away your cash back and rewards points. Perks that stretch your budget and make life a little easier. Losing these benefits means less money for your family's everyday essentials like gas and groceries. The perks you rely on could disappear, leaving you with higher costs and fewer options. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
The guy has an algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're out.
Roll Tide. I'm with Youmans. Bama in the playoff. $1.25 against Oklahoma. Steelers money line against the Dolphins. The one thing that would concern me is what can Achane do on the ground against that Pittsburgh run defense after what Buffalo did to him. Army money line. The Bowl Fenway against UConn, and Bears to miss the playoffs, plus 160. One play tonight. Jonathan Davis points out the last 9 games on TNT have gone over, and the Blackhawks are on a 6-1 overrun. Let's go over 5.5 tonight, coming up Chicago against the Rangers. That's it tonight.
Good luck, Pauly. Recapping my bets from last night, well, one of them anyway. UConn got there in the first half. They led by 7, I believe. At halftime, didn't want to lay the 4.5, kind of got away, and thank God I didn't because they only won by 4. Thought they might be a little bit of trouble there for Florida's guards early on. That was a winner in the game. Pending Seahawks minus 3.5 this week against the Colts. Bet that last week on the look-ahead number up to 14. Thunder to win the Cup. Let's go, boys, plus 225. And this is the look-ahead to next Thursday. Seahawks again plus the 1.5, minus 120. At home to the Rams. Got a bunch of bets for tonight. I am big on Aaron Wiggins. Love his game. This is kind of one of the guys I was talking about earlier this hour. Eventually, an NBA team would say, hey, Aaron, what do you want to play for us for $120 million? Yeah, that sounds good to me. There's no Isaiah Joe tonight, which is kind of the key here. So Wiggins is going to get probably a lot of minutes off the bench tonight. And they're also 15.5-point favorites here. They're huge favorites against everybody. So the blowout possibility always exists. So I'm betting him 10-plus points. Got that at minus 104. Over 1.5 made threes, plus 110. Took a stab on over 2.5 at plus 340 as well. And then in the other game tonight, the Lakers taking on the, Mark Williams, the double-doubles from that game for the Suns. He has scored, and Zach Cohen wrote about this at vsin.com. He has scored double-digit points in 8 straight games. He also had 3 straight games where he was a rebounding machine. He went for 11, 16, and 14. Has not been rebounding the ball well this month, but those 3 games were, 4, 5, 6 games ago. One of those games was against Oklahoma City when he had 13 and 14. There's no Isaiah Hartenstein in the game tonight. Obviously, Oklahoma City they got Holmgren. They're awesome defensively overall. But I'll go double-double plus 215 for him tonight. And you know what? I'm taking Luka to have a triple-double.
All right.
Now, he had one in his last game. That was against Philadelphia. It was 31, 15, and 11. He's actually only had 2 this year. But the first time they played the Spurs, he had 35, 13, and 9. He played 42 minutes in that game. Spurs are playing damn good basketball right now. And just kind of hoping that this doesn't turn into a 30-point rout for the Lakers. And it's kind of a tight game, and Luka plays 38 minutes, and then I think the triple-double is going to be within reach. I'll take it at plus 320.
They just played that wild game in New Orleans, like 133 to 130. That crazy game.
Yeah.
Good luck. Think you know sports, get paid for it. Better Picks Daily Fantasy app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download the Better app. Pick more or less on your favorite player stats, and when your pick hits, you win. New users get free money just for signing up. No deposit required. And when you do deposit, you get a 50% deposit match up to $200. Better has action every day of the year. There's always a lineup to build and a chance to win. Head to better.app, BETR, or download Better in the app or Google Play Store. Promo code VSiN. Claim your money and deposit bonus. Better Picks. If you know sports, it's time to prove it. At Kalshi and globally, DeBoer is the favorite to be the next coach of Michigan.
Yeah, brought his name up a little bit earlier.
It's been ping-ponging between Dillingham, DeBoer, and Jed Fish on Kalshi. And then he is the 4-1 shot at one book. Michigan next head coach. Jesse Minter 5-1. Joe Brady 6-1. Jed Fish 7-1. Braum 8-1. Dillingham and Lincoln Riley 9-1.
A person very close to the situation emailed the show and said Jesse Minter is your next Michigan head coach.
Oh. Really?
But I think what would have to happen for DeBoer to be the guy? So if you're going to make a case to actually bet him and for that bet to actually win.
They play next Friday.
So will they not? They can't name a coach before then. I guess they could, and he could pull a Lane Kiffin here and say, I'm not going to coach in the playoff. But if that's still vacant and Alabama gets their doors blown off, or they just lose outright.
Just lose. That's
it.
Maybe he's like, I can't do this anymore. It wasn't a good decision to follow Saban and their lunatics.
That could be it. And now, by the way, he would be going to Michigan, not following Harbaugh.
Uh-huh.
That's the guy that you want to be.
Yes, right. That's right.
So,
Dan Mullen, 10-1. Brian Dable, 10-1.
Yeah, people are making the case for him as well. Dan Mullen is probably not long for the UNLV job.
Right.
Unfortunately.
PJ Fleck, 14-1.
I would not go get him. I think he is just fine for Minnesota.
John Gruden and Brian Kelly, 25-1.
You think Brian Kelly's going to coach anymore?
Why would he? Give him
I don't
$50 million.
I know, there's no point.
Yeah.
And by the way, is he even desirable at this point? I
think Dillingham's a very good coach.
So do I.
What a job he's done. They were picked last, and they won the league last year.
Yeah, and by the way, they had some serious injuries this year. Put it this way, if you want to go back one full year and this job was open, the Michigan job or others, Dillingham would have been at the top of the list for several of those gigs. Got him to the playoff, almost won a game. They were incredible TV every single night out, the skilled position guys, and he was responsible for a lot of that stuff.
Fish is the favorite now again at Kalshi. There's also who will be out before next September. DeBoer, 35% the favorite. Belichick, 31%.
Who's going to be out before next December?
Yeah. Did I say? No, September. What did I say? Did I say December?
September.
September. Yeah.
Well,
that's up there as well.
Get the ball rolling here with ideas for Alabama then if this stuff actually comes to fruition with DeBoer. Because they're not going to want to fool around. They're not going to be happy settling for anybody.
Yep.
Paul, they're going to have to go out and get, like the best of the best here.
Well, Powers nailed it the other days. Exactly right. It's not your Saban Alabama. You can run on them. They're not. They seem soft at times. Yeah. The Florida State loss was terrible. Look how they started. Look how they ended.
I would also say
got pushed around by Georgia.
Nick Saban got out at the right time. Where now that these programs can pay a ton of money, by the way, in the portal, like the SEC is not the SEC that it was 4 or 5 years ago. It might not get back to there anytime soon. And Alabama, they had an unbelievable run with that guy. Probably the best college coach of all time. And to stay at that level is going to be nearly impossible. So, maybe if DeBoer goes 10-3 or 10-2 every single year, makes the playoff, be happy with that for a chance to win the national title.
John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. Both are back next year, $3. Harbaugh back only 3-1. Tomlin back only plus 550. Neither are back 6-1.
Well, okay, so I would bet both are back. Again, they won't take big bets on this, but I would bet both are back and lay $3, and I'd bet Tomlin back only at plus 550 because they've already announced they're not going to fire the guy.
Right, okay. Will Andy Reid retire before next year? Yes is 3-1.
It looked like he retired during the game on Sunday night.
It's one thing to do that, but then you apologize after the game, and then the next day you say, well, if I had to do it all over again, I would.
Well, but there was...
Andy, come on.
He was a frozen statue on the field.
You got a punt there. This one I like. Will Kelsey retire? Yes is $1.50. You see the quotes today?
What do you
I'm
say?
trying to figure it out. I'm trying to dig deep, and I just can't. I'm stumped to try to fix my performance. I can't find the answers.
Well, I mean, not everybody can, go out on top. And that would have been going back 2 years ago, not after getting blasted by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And, I mean, if he wants to come back and try to go out that way, that means they're going to have to have a total bounce back year. And maybe they do. They're just not winning those one-score games this year. No. They won all of them last year. But that seems a little far-fetched as well.
Back-to-back drops. Not getting open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the Broncos end the regular season on a 14-game winning streak is 10-1. I'd rather get involved with some of the Oklahoma City stuff.
Yeah, is what I.
Yeah. It's good the books are going to do that.
Yeah. I think that's worth it. 17-1 to break the Lakers record. Their schedule's too tough.
What was the first number that popped on 74 wins? Wasn't it 18, 20-1?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. That's as low as plus 350 now to break the record.
Like to have that one in pocket. Stay tuned. Coming up, VSiN Primetime, Matt Brown, Mike Somich on the program for 4 hours, followed by Cashing Out with Dustin Sweetelson. And wake up tomorrow early, VSiN by the books with Dave and Jensen. Good luck tonight.
DC politicians want to enact harmful credit card mandates that could take away your cash back and rewards points. Perks that stretch your budget and make life a little easier. Losing these benefits means less money for your family's everyday essentials like gas and groceries. The perks you rely on could disappear, leaving you with higher costs and fewer options. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.